doesn't mean you have a high level of Emunah, you have a low level of Emunah. You either believe in Hashem or you don't believe in Hashem. It's very, very simple, right? You went to the Discovery Seminar, you believe in Hashem, good. You don't, maybe you don't need the Discovery Seminar, you see that simply just look at the human body, like literally it's an impossibility. Even Darwin wrote a letter saying that the human eye still daunts me. That was his lashon, okay? The human eye, you don't need necessarily the Discovery Seminar, you just look at the human body and say, it's impossible that anything could have created this. Obviously, HaKadosh Baruch. So we believe in Hashem. We have Emunah. So what does it mean? I have a high level of Emunah, a low level of Emunah. What do you mean? This guy has 7 proofs, so he's a high level. This guy only has 1 proof, he's a low level. Doesn't make any sense. Either believe or you don't believe. So the Chazon Aish asked this question. The Chazon Aish has an amazing sefer called Ha'emunah v'Habitachon. You have it over here. They now translate into English. And he says as follows. He says, the question is based on a misunderstanding of what the word Emunah is. We think Emunah means, do I believe in God or not believe in God? That's wrong. Emunah means, how much do I live with God? So for example, I could walk down the street and someone could bump into me and I get all angry at that person. Kas, I have anger towards that person. The Rambam says, Kol HaKoes, anyone who gets angry, is Ki'ilu Oved Avodah Zarah. It's as if he worshipped idols. What does that mean? I just got angry at someone. It's like a bad character trait. It's as if I worship idols. So the idea is as follows. Why are you getting angry? Because at that moment, you forgot that Hashem is with you. Hashem cares about you. There's a reason that something happened. Yeah, not everything works out perfectly, but Hashem has a plan. And if I was living with Hashem, I would never get angry. You would never get angry. So the second you get angry, that's showing that it's as if you worship idols, meaning you weren't believing in Hashem at that moment. Now, if I would have shaken you up and I said, do you believe there's a God? Of course I believe there's a God. It's just right now, it's not on my consciousness. I'm not thinking about it right now. So the Chazon Aish writes that Emunah means how much do I live with Hashem? It's not can I prove it or not prove it. It's how much do I live with Him? And therefore, Noach, of course Noach believed in God. He talked to God. He knew that there was a creator. Right? It's just that he wasn't living with him every single moment. Again, we're talking about Noach, a tremendous tzaddik, so on his level. But he wasn't living with him every moment, that he also needed that push of the mabul to go in. And it's a lesson for us. It's not like one of my goals this year is to figure out, do I believe in Hashem, do I not believe in Hashem? That's true. But it's more than that. It's even after I believe in Hashem, but how much do I live with Hashem? How much do things get us angry, irritate us? How much do we make our decisions based on Hashem? Or like, we forget about Hashem and then we just go. We want to grow to become gedolim in Emunah. That means that we're always living with Him, we're always thinking about Him. When a person makes his brachos a certain way, then your food becomes part of serving Hashem. When a person says Baruch Hashem, when a person says Bezrat Hashem, right? He's thinking about Hashem all the time. So in all of our decisions, different things happen to us. Our whole level, our whole mindset, our whole ability to be besimcha totally changes. Like people point out, the word besimcha have the same letters as machshava, as our thought process. Because the more a person is able to, in his mind, recognize that Hashem is around and Hashem is doing what's supposed to be done, so I'm besimcha. I'm very happy. People think simcha means I have to jump on top of a van and dance. That's not what besimcha means. Besimcha means that internally my mindset is content with everything that's going on. So for example, we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So if you look in the Torah, the ayin in the word Shema is large, right? And the dalid in the word Echad is large as well. Ayin dalid, spell the word aid. We testify. The more a person testifies about Hashem, he recognizes that there's a God. So what are the other letters in the word Shema and Echad? Shin and Mem, and Aleph and Chet. Shin Mem Aleph Chet spells Esmach, I will be happy. The more that we have the ayin and dalid, the more that we have the aid, we testify Hashem. Yeah, you're with me. I'm walking with Hashem all the time. Esmach, I'm going to have simcha. So that was the idea over here. Of course, Noach believed in Hashem, but he wasn't living with Hashem every single second. Now that's a super, super duper high level. That's a lifelong dream of ours and our goal of ours, that we should work on ourselves in order to live with Hashem every single moment. Dvar Torah number 1. Dvar Torah number 2. Noach built a teva. He went into the teva, and he came out of the Teva and the world is completely destroyed. And the Zohar says as follows. Says, here I have the Zohar right here. It says, Ma heishiv HaKadosh Baruch Hu Noach kishiyatsa min HaTeva. What did Noach answer, reply to Hashem when he walked out of the Teva? V'ras ha'olam charav. Can you imagine? He goes into the Teva, the world's fine. He walks out of the Teva, and literally the entire place is destroyed. So he went to Hashem, he started crying lefanav. Amar Ribono Shel Olam, God, Nikreis Arachim, you're a merciful person. Why didn't you have mercy on this world? How could you do this? Yeshiva Kadosh Baruch Hu v'Amar. Hashem replied to Noach and said, Raya Shtaya, Hashta Marta, now you wake up. Now you're starting to ask me what's going on? Lama lo amart v'shaited amart lecha ki otcha re'iti tzadik lefani v'gomer. Why, when I told you that I'm going to destroy the world, didn't you start asking, please save us. Please do not do this. Hashem, you're a rachim. You're merciful. Please don't destroy the world. You didn't say anything. Now you're asking me why I did it? So the Zohar says that Hashem had a taina on Noach, that Noach didn't daven that the world should be saved. And for that reason, the Zohar tells us that the Mabul was actually called the Mei Noach. It's in this week's Haftorah, in the Sefer Yeshaya, and we sing it on Shabbos. Yonah Matzah Bo Manoach Sham Yinuchu Yigei Koach. The song Yonah Matzah is actually about the Yonah, the dove that was sent out. It was Matzah Bo Manoach. It found Menucha, it found a resting place. Chazal tells us it happened on Shabbos. So we sing that song, and in there it quotes the words in the Navi that the Mabul was called the Mei Noach. Don't forget those words. Mei, the Mayim of Noach. The waters of Noach. That's not nice. You could call it the destruction of the world, the waters of Noach? Like, what did he do so bad? So says the Zohar, I'll tell you what. He didn't daven for the world to be able to be complete. He didn't daven to Hashem, please don't destroy. He didn't step up in the way that he was supposed to, and therefore he's held accountable for the entire Mabul. Wild. Okay? So we see from here that it's important that our response, when we hear that something's not going right, we know of a friend that's not doing well, we know of some other tzara, our immediate response should be, oh, what's his name? I want to daven for him. We should always be caring about others and worrying about others. Noach was not, again, on Noach's level. He didn't, and therefore he was held accountable that the whole entire Mabul is called the Mei Noach. And the Meshech Chochma in this week's Parsha says something very fascinating. He says as follows, in Perek Tes Pasuk Chaf, the Pasuk calls Noach, after he walks out of the Teva, an Ish Adama, man of the ground. So he quotes the Medrash, that the Medrash says that Moshe was greater than Noach. Why was Moshe greater than Noach? Noach was called an Ish Tzaddik, the first Pasuk of this week's Parsha. He was called a Tzaddik. But then he was called an Ish Adama, a man of the ground. That was like demoted. He was first called an Ish Tzaddik, and now an Ish of the Adama. Moshe originally was called an Ish Mitzri, an Egyptian man, a regular dude, Egyptian. At the end of his life, he was called an Ish Elokim, a man of God. So we see that there was a fundamental difference between Noach, who went from an Ish Tzaddik to an Ish Adama, and Moshe, who went from an Ish Mitzri to an Ish Elokim. Explains the Meshech Chochma. Ha'inyan, what's this idea? There are two ways to serve Hashem, meaning doing good. There are two ways, two paths to serving Hashem. One, derech echad, he totally secludes himself and he thinks about Hashem all the time. He's learning, he's davening, totally focused on his own personal growth. Then there's another person who's not so focused on his own movement forward, but he's involved with the tzibur. He's doing chesed, he's helping people, he's learning with people, he's teaching people, he's involved with the people. By doing so, he can't learn as much. By doing so, he can't work on every one of his midos perfectly. He doesn't have as much time, right? So therefore, he loses out on his personal gain, but he's involved with the tzibur. So he says, Imkain tzarich lomar lefia musaga, a person would think, who's going to grow more at the end of the day? You would have thought, Shezeshem is boded, Yala Mala Mala. The one who's literally sitting in the corner over there, he's learning, he's davening, he's saying his tehillim, he's thinking about, oh, I can't believe I did that, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to do that, and he's working on himself. You would think that guy at the end of the day is going to be way further than the one that was running around and helping out and seeing that something wasn't taken care of, so he goes take care, he puts away the sfarm, and then the guy puts away the sfarm over his wash, wasting his time, that guy, right? He's not advancing forward. So that's what we would have thought, right? Comes along this medrash and coming to tell me that the opposite is true. The chozos matzanu sheNoach is boded. That's what Noach did. Noach focused on himself. The lo echiach b'nei dor. He didn't give musar to his entire generation. Hashem told him that the mob was going to come, and he didn't walk around trying to be makar of everyone. He should have been destroyed too. He secluded himself. Okay, once he was a tzaddik, yarad mimadregaso, he went down in his level. Became a man of the land. But Moshe nikra ish mitzvi. Therefore, he had to go into galus. He was a nothing. He was in exile. But at the end of the day, he gave his life up for Klal Yisrael. To kill that Egyptian man. Nikra ish Elokim. He ascended to the level of ish Elokim. That's what the Torah is teaching us. That someone who cares about Klal Yisrael and gives his life up for Klal Yisrael, he loses out in his immediate window of growth. But he gives himself up for that. At the end of the day, he becomes an Ish Elokim. Absolutely amazing thing. And the Chassam Sofer says this as well in many, many places. The Chassam Sofer was known for his, he was a Gadol Ador. There are tshuvas of the Chassam Sofer. We have it over there, okay? Volumes and volumes. Everyone in the entire world was asking Shilas of the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer didn't go a single day of his life once he started teaching that he didn't give a shiur. His whole life, he was teaching and teaching and teaching, and throughout all of the Chassam Sofer's works, the Chassam Sofer talks about this idea that there are two drachim in Avodas Hashem. One is you totally seclude yourself and you try to go up, and another one where you're involved with other people and teaching other people, and that second way is the way to go. And one of his famous drushes that he has is an introduction to his tshuvas on Yardea, the Psuchei Chosam. Now they've published it in its own sefer. You could learn it. Highly recommend it. And the Chassam Sofer points out that the only person in all of Tanakh, here's a good trivia question, you could ask people at your Shabbos table, okay? The only person in all of Tanakh that says that Hashem loved is Avraham Avinu. The pasuk says, Avram Ohavi. In Yeshaya Perek Mem Aleph pasuk Ches, he says that Avram is the one that I love. And the Chassam Sofer goes on and explains. He contrasts him to Chanoch. Chanoch was someone who totally secluded himself, worked on himself to the level that he even got to become a malach. And it says that maybe Chanoch didn't even die, and he just ascended up to Shemayim. That was Chanoch. Avram was busy running around, pulling people into his tent, doing kiruv, spreading Hashem's name, helping the people. He was busy, working with other people. Who's the one that Hashem calls, the one I love? Avraham Avinu. And to the extent that Chassam Sofer says that, believe it or not, he didn't even lose out. Because when Hashem was going to destroy Sodom, so he's talking to Avraham Avinu. Avram is davening, please don't do it. He's talking to Avram, and he says, can I conceal what I'm about to do from Avram? I can't do that. He's Avram. See, even though Avram wasn't on the level necessarily to have this direct communication with Hashem, that he's going to tell him he's destroy Sodom, he says, I don't care. I'm going to boost him up a few levels, and I'm just going to tell him. So even though maybe he wasn't like Chanoch, like an angel, but at the end of the day, Hashem gives you what you need if you deserve it. If you go ahead and you care about Klal Yisrael and care about other people, Hashem goes ahead and He'll give you what you need. Even if you're not spiritually on that level, you'll jump a bunch of levels. It's like in video games, you like skip from level 1 to level 8. Yeah, that's what it is. You'll get there. You'll get what you need because you cared about Klal Yisrael. Hashem, you're never going to lose out. Noach is held accountable for the Mabul, the Mei Mabul, because he didn't daven, says the Zohar, for Klal Yisrael. Now watch this. Okay, this is unbelievable. Let's fast forward to Sefer Shmos. Okay, what was the greatest Aveira, not great and good, but the biggest Aveira that happened in Moshe Rabbeinu's lifetime to the Jewish people? Chet Egel. The Chet Egel was the worst thing that happened. We still are paying the price. So says the pasuk in Perek Lamed Beis. You can remember Leiv, okay? Perek Lamed Beis, pasuk Tes. Hashem says, "Vayom Hashem el Moshe." Sefer Shmos. Ra'isi es Amaz, I saw this nation. Hine am kshei orfu, this stubborn neck people, like they're terrible. Va'ata anichal Moshe, please move over. Vayichar pibahem v'achalim. I'm destroying the Jewish people. V'aseu schal goy gadol. And you, Moshe, you're gonna come out a big nation. What does that sound like? I'm gonna destroy everything, and you, individual, you're gonna live on and build from you. Who does that sound like? Noach, very similar to Noach, right? I'm going to destroy the whole world, and Noach, you're going to be the one that's going to continue. The exact same thing by Moshe. What does Moshe do immediately? The next pasuk, pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayichal Moshe es pnei Hashem elokav. Moshe calls out to Hashem. Why would you get angry? You took them out of Egypt. Why should the Egyptians and the other nations all say, what, you just took them out to go ahead and kill them? That's the type of God you are? It was like a game. I'm going to pull them out, I'm going to kill them in the desert. Really, God, you're going to go ahead and do that right away? He starts going after Hashem. And he gives a whole speech, keeps on going. And the final line in his speech, this, you have to remember, Perek Lamed Beis, pasuk Lamed Beis, Leiv. He pours out his heart, okay, to Hashem, and he says as follows. It's a chutzpah, it seems. Moshe goes ahead and he says to Hashem, "Va'ata im tisachat esam." Hashem, just listen to me right now, okay? If you uplift their sin, meaning you forgive them, good. Ve'im ayin, and if you don't forgive him, Hashem, mecheni na. Remember that word, mecheni. Erase me. Misifrecha. I want out. You know this whole Torah is going to be the bestseller for every generation forever. What's the next second bestseller after the Torah? Anyone know? No? Harry Potter. Excellent. Harry Potter. Right after the Torah comes Harry Potter. Okay, so the Torah is way past that, but fine. And Moshe is the main star of the show, and Moshe says, I am out. Out. If you don't listen to my tefillah, I am out. Mecheni na. Erase me. Can you imagine him saying this? So he's davening. Hashem, how can you get angry? Everyone's going to say bad things about you. And he says at the end, last line, it sounds like manipulation. Hashem, if you don't listen to me, I am out. Erase me. Mecheni na. Says the Arizal, the Zohar, the word mecheni, mem, chet, nun, Yud. Mem, Chet, Nun, Yud. Chet and Nun. Spell the letters. Scramble. Noach. Mem, Yud. Mei Noach. Mecheni. Moshe was saying, erase me. Why? Says the Arizal, Moshe was a gilgul, a reincarnation of Noach. Noach made a mistake. He didn't daven for all of Klal Yisrael. He didn't daven for the world. That's why he was held accountable. Moshe came into this world. His main job was, anytime something went wrong, Moshe is going to go ahead and daven. They messed up the Chet Egel. Immediately comes along Moshe and davens, because that was his tikkun. And he's davening, he's going after Hashem, and he says to him, Hashem, if you're not going to listen to my tefillah, look what I'm doing. Then mecheni, then erase me, because the whole point was Mei Noach. The whole point of me being here was because the Mabul came because someone didn't mispalel, and here I come to be mispalel, and what? You don't want that? So what's the point of me coming back here? Mecheni, erase me from the story. There's no point of me coming into this world. There's no point of me being here. That's what Moshe was coming to say. So Moshe came to be metaking that which Noach left off. And that is the lesson for all of us, that we have to appreciate. It's not like, okay, like something happened to someone else, so like, oh yeah, I'm going to daven for him. We're all one unit. All of Klal Yisrael is one. You have something good that happens to you, I should be so happy for you. I'm not jealous of you. I'm happy for you. You were matzliach, you finished something, you made a siyum, you getting married, whatever it is. I'm happy for you, like it would be to me. Why should I be jealous? You're me. And the more that I love Klal Yisrael, I'm part of Klal Yisrael, I'm not selfish, I'm not just thinking about myself and my growth and my advancement and what am I going to get out of this. So then your joy is my joy. And if chas v'shalom, someone has something that's sad and bad for them, then I'm sad, for real. It's not like, yeah, and I did Bikur Cholim. No, of course I did Bikur Cholim. I feel the person's pain. So of course the immediate reaction that a person is going to have is, I got to go ahead and I got to daven. Because we're all one. I need to daven for other people. I care about other people. And that's what Moshe came about, and Moshe was able to do, and he was Moser Nefesh for Klal Yisrael, and he helped Klal Yisrael, and he did chesed, and he wasn't always worried about what about me, and what about me, and what about me, and at the end of the day, he ascended from an Ish Mitzri to an Ish Elokim. My bracha to all of us is that we're able to take in this message, we're able to really become Klal Yisrael Dika Yidden, be able to be part of the whole, and we should be able to feel people's pain and act based on that. We should be able to rejoice in other people's simchas and nachas, etc. And through that, we should just help and want to help people and give to people and learn with people and teach people and worry about people and care about people. And that's going to allow us to all grow. We're all going to get even higher and higher and higher from that. We should never ever think that we're losing out, we're not losing anything. We're actually gaining from that. That's the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to act. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to uplift all of Klal Yisrael together with us. And we'll be zochet to see the gula. Meher v'yameinu.